Okay, looks like everybody who's going to be coming has arrived. Cynthia, you want to start us off?
Of course. So good to see you again, Michael, on another October morning. Very happy to be back with you on the West Coast, me on the East Coast, and through the miracle of technology, we're once again talking about health literacy in October.
How about that?
How
Well,
about
and
that?
Health Literacy Month, everybody. Thanks everybody
Yes.
for joining us.
Yes. Just in case you didn't know, the reason this conference is held in October is in part because of Health Literacy Month. So we're happy to have you here. We have a great program for you today. We're going to go through a few housekeeping details, and then Michael and I will give just a few minutes of welcome, and then we'll get right into our program. So you will be muted during the presentations. There is a Q&A session at the end of each presentation. If you have questions for the speaker, please use the Q&A box that's at the bottom of your screen. So not the chat, but the Q&A. If you have any technical difficulties, your point of contact is info@HLactionconf.com, right there on the screen. So please make a note of that just in case you have any hiccups during today. Everything is going to be recorded and posted on the Solution Center website approximately 1 week after the conference. And of course, we love your feedback. Michael and I, as well as the other conference team members, go through that feedback. We take it seriously, and we definitely use it for programming decisions. So please do take a few minutes at the end of the conference and fill out the evaluation. That also, if you're signed up for continuing education credits, that allows you to get your CE credits. So the link to the evaluation will be at the end of today. And I believe that's all of our housekeeping.
Yes,
So,
and just one other quick note. So at the end of this session, there's going to be the welcome, and then Elizabeth Chung. At the end of each session, and we'll let you know, you'll need to sign out of that session and then come back into the next plenary. But for this one and the opening remarks from Elizabeth in the first plenary, you'll stay put right here. So again, this conference is about policy and advocacy. These are very important components in the realm of health literacy. We do present through various conferences and various alliances, sort of the three-legged stool of health literacy, which is practice, policy, and research. So this conference is kind of our policy and advocacy conference. A little later at the end of this month is the Health Literacy Annual Research Conference, and you can find out about that from healthliteracysolutions.org. And then in May is our IHA practice conference about operational solutions in practice. So you kind of get all three of those all together. That's the end of our plugs for today. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Cynthia to introduce our first speaker. Cynthia.
great. Thank you so much, Michael. As Michael said, this conference really is about turning research into practice as well as policy. Yesterday, we had a great event to kick off Health Literacy Month. We had a look back at where the health literacy field has been over the last 20 or 25 years, and also talking about what kinds of needed policy actions would really move health literacy forward. And I think our speakers today are going to address that from a number of perspectives. So first, I would like to welcome one of our longtime community partners from here in Maryland, Elizabeth Chung. She is the Executive Director of the Asian American Center of Frederick in Frederick, Maryland. I hope we have some Maryland residents on the line today, but if not, just to let you know, Frederick is the second largest city here in the state of Maryland after Baltimore. It is up 270, which is one of the major arteries kind of leading out of the southern metro area up towards the top of the state. And Elizabeth has been working, kind of tilling the soil around language access, community health workers for many, many decades now. And we are very pleased that she is joining us today to give us her perspective on health literacy sort of on the ground and in the community. So welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. Am I on?
You are. The floor is yours, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. And I tend to speak very fast so that hopefully you can catch everyone. It's so wonderful. As a community-based organization, our whole vision is equities. And that means that using a different, the strategies to reach that. Equities is efforts. So making effort to enhance services, to empower the communities and also to look at cultural, enrichment. This has been 40 years in practice in public health, and I'm so grateful. On one hand, you might be surprised to hear me saying that, thankful for the COVID. On one hand, it's really hard, but on the other hand, it really brought out what I always wanted to do is really getting the information across. So it's no better time, and I'm so glad to have wonderful partners like Dr. Bao, who really, work with us, looking at developing skill sets. You all know about CHW. It's not why I'm here to talk about why they're so important. We can speak English. Can we really to be an English teachers? Not necessarily the case. I speak Chinese. Can I be a Chinese interpreter? Not the case. So what I'm trying to get is that with this opportunity that we have through COVID, through working with UMD, we really hone in terms of how can our practice really affect, more information leading to more research and more to policy. I believe in those research, project that we have, and I hope that with data that we're collecting through the health literacy project that we have, it's a long name, it's short one is lifting our voices, is to advance, the health literacy through the work we do. I do have a lot to cover, but as Michael said, this is today is really focusing on policy and so forth. I have a few more ideas from a community base. We have 40 languages, 25 countries, and we work with just a few of those languages with Dr. Bao during the time. But I can tell you the skills, the knowledge, the capacity that we built through these 2.5 years will be long lasting to impact on diabetes, mental health, cancers and so on and so forth. So, I know that I probably have a lot more to offer to you, but as a community, this is against empowerment to me. I'm able to be part of this institution and we're looking at policy from the experience that we have. I appreciate that the inclusiveness that we are at the table. My three-legged stool is at the table with the money and do the best we can. I hope we continue to learn. And I'm really looking at this integration between communities, institution, and our academic institution, our healthcare delivery system, health department, hospital becomes such a strong partner because we're learning from each other. And I think that that's a very multi-directional approach for me. And then having the community be a part of this team is absolutely essential. So Cynthia, do you think that I have more time or you can take it back from me?
You have a couple, like 2 more minutes if there's anything you'd like to add.
I always check first.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, 2 more minutes.
Sure. I think that from a community standpoint, it's really normalizing the message. Take care of yourself, do prevention, do promotion. But what does that mean to the communities that we serve, right? So normalizing that, the message about how to take care of yourself. What does that mean in terms of COVID in this case and so forth? So we took it very seriously. But the nice thing about this is in this process, we express ourselves to our researchers, and that's Dr. Bao's team, and the developer, that's her team, and they understand, oops, we cannot say this way, we have to use this way, or even the format, as she was pointing out, not everybody have iPad. If they have, what do we do? So it is just informational highways. I found that is so exciting, but we got to have those skills for those workers who are the front line in giving information. We got to listen to them because they really are the experts. So I think it's such a great opportunity for all of us to work together. I would like to really look at more policy issues that can really bring us to to the next level. And I felt very strong. Maybe I'm biased, Dr. Bao. I think this is really a national model as we continue to grow. So with that said, I yield back to you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for those remarks. I will just add that one of the ways that we made sure the ties were strong between our organization was to bring one of your community health workers over to the Horowitz Center team, right? To make sure that we really were fully integrating the community health worker perspective, and that Steve, who will be on our hub meeting tomorrow, talking about the role of community health workers, really was able to kind of keep that relationship strong. So thank you for those opening remarks, and Elizabeth will be back with us during the discussion section.